North Carolina is a popular tourist destination. The coast offers a variety of entertainment, from surfing to fishing to education to just lying in the sun. Every year, the tourist industry brings North Carolina millions of dollars. According to NC.gov, in 2017, visitors to North Carolina generated about $3.7 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. Beaches are the leading tourist destination. With its sandy beaches, Carolina Beach State Park, Fort Fisher Historic Site, Pleasure Island, North Carolina is a honey hole for tourism. With all the money pouring into the coast, life is all good, right? Wrong! Our beaches are constantly moving in a natural process called island rollover. This is the process of islands migrating due to the currents and wave action moving the sediments that make up the island. In North Carolina, the islands are migrating landward and south at an alarming rate of an average 1 meter per year. The dynamic ecosystem of the coast is like giving a 3-year-old a cup of coffee. It's awesome, you love it, but it's always on the move. So North Carolina has a few options to maintain its tourism and beaches. Option 1 is migrate. Like in 1999, the state moved the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse a couple thousand feet off the beach. What? The whole lighthouse? All at one time? Yep, they sure did, and it was pretty awesome. Option 2 is to mitigate, the process of dredging sand from offshore and throwing it onto the beaches. Beach nourishment is extremely expensive, but is the preferred method for North Carolina communities. The last option is armoring. This process is where a hardened structure is placed on the beach in an attempt to stop erosion. However, North Carolina banned the implementation of hardened structures because they increase erosion on adjacent sides of the structure and significantly decrease biodiversity by around 40%. Although hardened structures are illegal, there are 9 total in the state, 5 of which were established before the ban, and the other 4 were exceptions to the law. One of these exceptions is the seawall in Curry Beach, North Carolina. This seawall was built in 1996 in an attempt to protect the Fort Fisher site. The fort was built during the Civil War and is a state historic site. The natural process of island rollover was washing the fort into the Atlantic Ocean. The state granted permission for the seawall to be built in an attempt to protect the remaining 10% of the fort that we still have today. So let's review. For a person that owns a development on the beach, here are your options. Migration and mitigation is very expensive, and hardened structures are illegal. So you may be stuck with a floating house. Or, North Carolina residents have found a loophole. Sandbags. Sandbags are a legal form of armoring, and all you need is to purchase a permit from the CRC for $400. They are meant to be temporary with a maximum lifespan of 5 years. However, no one regulates the permits and enforces the sandbag removal after those 5 years are up. The North Carolina coast is riddled with sandbags. There are 350 sites with sandbags, and 40% of those have exceeded their permits. The Riggins condo in Curry Beach is an extreme example of the lack of regulation. The condos have had sandbags in front of it since its creation in 1985. With sandbag walls having extended lifespans, they essentially act as a seawall. Which, remember, seawalls are hardened structures and are illegal in the state of North Carolina. Not only do sandbags increase erosion on adjacent sides of the structure and decrease biodiversity, sandbags also create an additional environmental issue. They supply the ocean with plastic. These bags are made up of woven or knitted plastic threads or plastic filament. As we know, the beach is a harsh environment. Just feel your crunchy hair after you get done with the day at the beach. The sun, sand, waves, and salt break down these plastic bags and drag the remnants out to sea. If you don't know, plastic in our oceans is causing major environmental damage. Studies show that plastics have caused many fatalities for a bunch of different species, including birds, turtles, fish, and marine mammals. So you might ask, how do we save coastal developments that bring so much economic growth to North Carolina? How do we stop the islands from moving? Is there a bright side to this story? No, not really. Better alternatives to sandbags need to be established for beachfront property owners. Policies could focus on building up natural erosion management techniques, such as developed dunes. Dunes are barrier islands' natural defense against island rollover, and if we establish dune systems, we could significantly cut down on sandbag plastic. Not to mention, dunes are a lot prettier to look at than those scrappy sandbags. Better coastal erosion management policies can keep the coast of North Carolina just the way we like it. Beautiful, profitable, and intact.